Hello, everybody. Carnage back here again. I apologize for not posting a ton of videos this year, but I have been extremely busy with life stuff. I started a new job recently, so that's pretty good. And I actually just moved into a new place early November, so yeah, that's basically what's been happening with me. And that kind of explains why I've been, kind of putting off videos and everything like that. But anyway, and apologies for any noise that you hear. But today, as you can tell by the video, I am doing one of my personal favorite kinds of videos, and that's a top 10 video. So yeah, to get things started off, I am going to be putting up the honorable mentions of characters that came out this year, starting with this classic Nova. And don't get me wrong, phenomenal figure. It's just that it's on an older type of body mold, but I really do like the head sculpt that they put on him. It's a very good head sculpt, and I really do appreciate that they gave him fisted and the flying hands that are kind of like this. So that was pretty cool of them. And another one that I personally really enjoyed was this Civil Warrior. And I really like him because I really do enjoy playing the video game Marvel Contest of Champions. It's a great game, and this figure is also a complete reuse of the Hydra Cap. Yeah, Hydra Cap. That came out about 2 years ago, I want to say at this point. Don't get me wrong, this figure is pretty good for what they gave to us, but it's just not, pretty great to be on a top 10 in my personal opinion. And then the next one up, which was kind of surprising to me because I really, really did enjoy this figure, and that is the Red Skull. And the main reason why he's on this list is because he does kind of have a little lack of articulation for my personal taste. I personally would have really appreciated if they gave him like butterfly joints. And yeah, like the alternate head they gave us was pretty good, but this one is just pretty the best in my opinion. Also, I don't know if you guys can see that, but he is kind of a little wide-eyed, as you could say, because one eye is really facing towards the right and the other one's facing really far towards the left. But aside from that, really good figure, but the other ones that I put on this list were just better in my personal opinion. And then the next one up, which was kind of a surprise for me because I really did enjoy this figure when I got it, and that is the What If Zombie Hunter Spider-Man. And this was actually one of my personal favorite episodes that they gave us. So the fact that I didn't even put it in my top 10 was kind of surprising. But yeah, basically, it's just mostly like the upper torso that I'm not a huge fan of, but like the lower legs are great and the arms are pretty good. I just wish they would have, given us like butterfly joints and just other things rather than just that. But it does really have great articulation. I do appreciate the accuracy to the TV show of What If. And yeah, that's basically it for the honorable mentions. I did have a couple more, but basically these are just the ones that I really wanted to show off because they are pretty good figures, and I do think they are kind of underrated, except for the Red Skull. He is definitely pretty good, but the rest of them just kind of beat him out. So without any further ado, let's get on with the video. And starting off with our top 10, that would be Icarus. And I really do like this figure. This was actually the first one I picked up from that wave. It's actually uh, the only one aside from Thena that I have. And I just really love this figure. Like, I don't know why. There's just something about it that I just really like. I mean, the articulation is, like, decent, don't get me wrong. Like, every figure would be better with butterfly joints, in my opinion, and that's just my case for him. Like, but the detailing is just so good on him. Like, I especially really do like that they caught the, sorry about that, did catch the strand of white hair that, I can't remember the actor's name at the moment, but I really do like how they captured all of that into this figure. And I just really do love this alternate head sculpt they gave for him with the glowing eyes like he's about to shoot his laser vision. And for those of you who don't know, Icarus in the movie, biggest plot twist ever with this character if you have not seen the movie. I'm not going to spoil anything because, well, that's just a douchey move. But this figure just blows my mind with how much detailing is on it. And this is all like sculpted into, it's not like just, what's the word? Vinyled on or anything like that. But I don't know if you guys can catch that on the camera, but there's like two different shades of blue on this figure. Like these are like a purplish blue, and these are just like more of a solid blue. And the gold accents are just phenomenal on that. But anyway, that's number 10. Now let's move on to number 9. And in the number 9 spot, we have the Age of Apocalypse Iceman. And the reason why this figure is here so high up on the list is just mostly because, again, no butterfly joints. But I mean, aside from that, it's a beautiful figure. Could have used a little more of what they did on the front, like with that white paint on the back. That would have made the figure just way more better. And as far as I can tell, none of this is really a reuse. Maybe like the upper thighs and like the hip area. And the torso is definitely different. Like, they definitely use the Bucky cap mold as like a starting base, but then they just kind of made it kind of more blocked out like ice, and that's just really cool in my opinion. And I just also am a sucker for these translucent type of figures. Like, you never see that well of translucent figures in my personal opinion. Like, I mean, they did a pretty good job with the Walgreens exclusive Human Torch and what's his name? The other Iceman. I don't know how I forgot that from the Juggernaut wave, and that figure was actually one of my personal favorites from that wave. Even though that I know some people had trouble with his like legs breaking off, I personally am lucky enough that I didn't have that problem. But I mean, this Iceman is just phenomenal, and I personally have not read Age of Apocalypse, but I mean, I'm really, really interested in it now, mostly because of like the concept of it. Basically, Age of Apocalypse is a kind of what if scenario, in my from what I kind of understood. But yeah, I recommend you guys check it out. I also will check it out. But anyway, moving on to number 8. And moving on to number 8, we have the Retro Wave Sandman. And the main reason why he's here is because, well, as you could just tell, like in my, like just for mine probably, he has a hard problem, like standing up. Like he will fall forward pretty easily. But I mean, aside from that, great sculpt. Really loved the alternate head, where you could have like Sandman punch or Spider-Man punching Sandman right through the head. And also these alternate hands are pretty good too. But I do know they did reuse at least the upper torso from Luke Cage and possibly the boots. I personally do not have the Netflix Luke Cage, so I cannot confirm or deny that information. But I mean, phenomenal figure, pretty decent articulation. But yeah, again, butterfly joints are a big thing for me. So yeah, but he's definitely a great addition to my Spider-Man villain shelf or my Avengers display. Because if for those of you who did not know, Sandman was actually an Avenger at one point. I don't remember which iteration of the Avengers it was, so I can't really help that information out. But I do know Sandman was a part of the Avengers at one point. Yeah, now let's get on to number 7. Now in 7th place is the video game Miles Morales. And the reason why he's kind of this high up It's just mostly because he's just a little too tall and scrawny for me. Like in the video game, he's supposed to be like shorter than the actual Peter Parker, but he's actually pretty tall. Like if they would have made him like an inch shorter and also like a little more broader, like maybe by like half a centimeter or half an inch, something like that, he probably would have been a little better for me. But I really do like all the sculpted detail on him, and I also really did love this game. Don't get me wrong, phenomenal game, loved it. The ending was gorgeous, and yeah, like I love the accessories that it came with. The uh, Venom Blast hands were definitely my favorite touch to this, but I personally just really like him in like a crouched pose with his fist out because it's kind of how I always really liked seeing him in the video game. But yeah, pretty awesome figure. I really do also like the glossy red. But yeah, on to figure number 6. And for 6th place, we have Quicksilver. And I bet a lot of you are thinking, oh, I didn't see that coming. Yes, there was a pun intended in that. Like, don't get me wrong, this figure is amazing. I like it. I'm so happy that they finally gave us one. Yeah, only downside is he does kind of have very stiff joints, and I did heat him up with some warm water. But I mean, he's still kind of a little on edge for mine personally. Like, I don't know if that's a big problem with a lot of people's, but personally for mine, his joints are still stiff even though I did heat him up. But I mean, I love that they gave us alternate fisted hands for him, and also bits and pieces to destroyed Ultron drones. And I really do like that they gave him like such a beautiful costume in the movie, because like, don't get me wrong, the one from WandaVision, I really hope they do give us a Ralph Boner figure, because that would be amazing in my opinion, and mostly just the Ralph Boner in the like comic Quicksilver outfit. But yeah, I really, my favorite part about this figure is definitely the hair. Like, I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but they did kind of like do a base coat and then just paint over it white, and I just really like that. And also the 5 o'clock shadow is kind of sculpted on from what it feels like, and I just really like that. And that is a pretty good likeness to the actor that played Quicksilver in Age of Ultron. His name isn't popping up in my head at the moment, but very cool. And also this torso piece is kind of sculpted, so you can feel all the little bumps, and that's also really cool. But yeah, now let's speed our way into number 5. Oh, what the? Okay, that's weird. I had Quicksilver in my hand a second ago. Now I'm at Fat Thor. Alright, I'm not going to question it. But anyway, going on to Fat Thor. A lot of you also might be thinking, wait, why is he this high up? Well, I mean, my main reason is because, well, uh, it is mostly because of the, like, it's good articulation, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, they made us a Fat Thor. This is what I wanted for so long. But I mean, there's just a couple of things that I'm not a huge fan of. I wish they didn't give us, like, the translucent plastic ones. I wish they would have just given us, excuse me, like, just plain old, like, Mjolnir and, Stormbreaker. Because, like, in the movie, they weren't, like, always translucent. And especially during the final fight, they weren't just translucent. But, I mean, aside from that big thing and also the lack thereof articulation, I love this figure. Fantastic. I love him on my shelf. He's just gorgeous. I also really do love the head sculpt that they gave for him. Like, just the glowing eyes. Also the scar going down the side of his face. Also the, I can't think of the word, braided beard. just phenomenal. And I also really do like that this is a almost completely new sculpt. Like, aside from the hammer and axe, the cape is a reuse, and I also believe the legs might be reused from the Infinity War one. I might be wrong about that though. But I mean, aside from that, this figure is definitely great, and I recommend you guys do try and get him if you can. And now we are heading off to number 4. Whoosh. Wow. Just so you know, I just had to break a hole into a different dimension just so I can get this figure. And let me just say, I loved this episode of What If. And I'm a big fan of like What If in general, but this one though, this one was just mind-boggling. Like, this one was definitely the best one in the entire show. And like, I mean, he has great articulation, kind of inhibited a lot by the I don't know what it's called. I think it's part of his robe. And also the cape on mine just has a hard time staying on. And I don't know what kind of material they use to make this, but it's a weird, like it feels like it's slimy, but it's not, and I don't know how to feel about that. But I mean, aside from that, the cape is just phenomenal. And I love how he stole it from a bug. Like, he wouldn't kill the bug, he just stole the bug's cape. But I mean, that face sculpt is so good. So, so good. And I also love how they captured, like, the evil goatee that this Doctor Strange has. And he didn't come with, like, a ton of accessories. They just mostly just gave him this one little, time stone effect. But I mean, even that is just pretty good. And I personally have kept him in a pose kind of like at the end of his episode where he's kind of like, "Ah." But I'm like, oh, that episode was so good, and I recommend you do watch it. And I know I'm not explaining a lot about this figure, but I mean, just so good. And I know it's based off a cartoon, but I really wish they would have added more shading to it. That's also another thing that I'm a sucker for, like if it has good shading or not. But I mean, that's just personally my opinion about that. But I mean, yeah, basically, pretty great figure other than that. Now let's go on to number 4. Ooh. And now to the top 4. Or 3, actually. My bad. For the top 3 figures. And number 3 definitely has to go to Ultron. And oh my god, I was so happy I found this figure. Like, it's perfect. Like, there's nothing that I can complain about this figure. I kind of wish they would have given us kind of like some blasting hands with him, though. That's the only thing. But I mean, aside from that, it's a great, great figure. Great articulation, great paint, just great everything. Like, oh my god. And I also really found this kind of interesting. He doesn't have a calf swivel, he has more like a upper ankle type of thing. And that is just so interesting to me. And I also love the fact that they gave us a oh, I don't know what it's called, but the little bubble effect that just comes out of his mouth. And oh, this figure is just so good. So, so good. And I really hope you guys do find one because he is amazing. Now let's go to number 3. Oh, wow. Oh, I guess number 2 really just wanted to have 2 different figures. And the 2 figures for this one are from the same movie. And my god, was this movie so good. And I recommend you guys see it because you will not be disappointed. And that is the newest Doctor Strange and Spider-Man from the No Way Home set. And this Doctor Strange is definitely a superior upgrade to the older one. Like, the face sculpt is better, the fucking Sorry I cussed, but I mean, it's just so much better. Like, I really love the magic effects he has. His cape is so cool. Like, this cape is definitely better than the original one they made. And now for the real star of the whole thing. Oh my god, this suit is just so good. I really love it. And it's perfect. Like, I love the butterfly joints, the articulation's great. I love the like, it's just so good. Like, only thing I can really complain about is they did not blackwash the webs. And that is literally the one thing that I have a complaint about either of these. Like, I just kind of wish Doctor Strange had better articulation in the legs rather than having his robe get in the way. But I mean, aside from that, both of these are phenomenal figures, and I recommend you try and get both of them if you can. But aside from that, phenomenal figures, and now let's move on to first place. And for those of my close friends who know me, you all know that I'm a huge fan of Marvel Zombies, so this one, of course, definitely had to be the number one figure that I had to put on this list. And, like, he's just so good. Like, the detailing, the sculpt, just so gruesome, and I love it. Like, this figure, like, it didn't look as cool in, like, the previews that they showed, in my opinion, but I was gonna buy it anyway because this is technically the first Marvel Zombie figure, aside from the head pull that came with the Sauron wave. But I mean, just the shield, I kind of wish they would have given it, like, more of a red tint rather than this, like, purplish hue that they gave us. But I mean, aside from that, this figure is phenomenal. Just so great. Just, I especially really like the chunks taken out of the legs, just the ripped clothing. And I will be trying to do a review on this figure at some point. But at the moment, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I am kind of busy with my new job. And I also just realized this, but the A and the star on his chest are gold. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's basically it for this video, guys. So I just want to say thank you for watching. I will definitely try to post more in the future, but like I said, I have a new job that I'm starting that has me getting up pretty early in the morning and pretty uh, home pretty late at night. So, like, I will definitely try my best to still give you guys content. But as of the moment, I am pretty busy with that. But anyway, without any further ado, I'm just gonna close this video out. So I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. And if you did, please leave a comment down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. And yeah, if you want to see more videos in the future, just leave a comment down below and I will definitely try to get back to you as soon as possible. But yeah, with that being said, my name is Carnage and I will catch all of you in the next video. Peace. Yeah, killed the zombie.